Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
You can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling.
Asked by Mark No.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Looking forward to this one.
The two teams, as always, have a practice session before the game, and in the preliminary round, they draw for Hammer in the first end. And was the Flasch team winning that draw to the button? So they've got Last Rock throwing the red stones. And I think they were playing the tick there all the way, tick the guard and roll in behind the corner. Oh, a little unfortunate at the end. It actually spun back partially open. It was dead buried.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was really, really good, but then yeah, just that last bit of spin there at the end.
Still, it opens up shot rock. Jacques Gauthier, he's backed by lead Alex Horvath. This is the second, Jason Ginter. The third is Sterling Middleton. Jacques Gauthier, the skip, and I mentioned they're registered out of Victoria, BC. Of course, I think a lot of the viewers will remember Jacques having played as junior in Manitoba. And I think his mom was calling one of the games. Well, there we get, that's one of the difficulties. We saw that actually in the other 8 qualifier this morning. An attempt around a corner guard when they could only see half. You crash that guard and push it to the boards. That's a free guard zone violation. And the guard comes back. The shooter is removed. Early advantage in this end here now because of that to Colton Flasch, a chance to perhaps sit too early on.
Yeah, is there so they're just playing off, are they just drawing around
You're
here?
gonna,
Maybe just tapping up?
He's opting for the draw. I think part of it is looking at it. If you play the hit and roll, you're probably coming into the side of your own and leaving a double. For the Flasch team, he is backed by Daniel Marsh at lead. This is twin brother Kevin Marsh throwing the second stones. Catlin Schneider sweeping. He's the one with the brush down. Throws the third stones, and Colton Flasch, of course, the skip of this team.
Very nice.
Gets that one dead buried, and the run double might be there. That's what Gauthier is looking at.
Now, I'm not as familiar with this Gauthier team. Is this pretty much the same team that he had through juniors?
You're going to put me on the spot. No, I don't believe it is,
Oh,
actually,
okay.
because his junior team was a Manitoba team.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I'd have to look it up myself. And maybe somebody in the chat will be aware of this and get it for me before I do. But I had it in my head that part of this is the leftover remnants of Tyler Tardy's team, and I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. But you know, this is great that I get to see this team. Right, this is kind of a up and coming team. Thanks to Curling Stadium, I'm able to get watch these two teams play. I've seen Flasch. You know, he's been skipping his team for a little bit now, and I remember him from playing front end for Cooey. But for Gauthier, I don't get a chance to see them a lot. So looking forward to working this game with you.
The Flash team is the reigning Saskatchewan champions, and they're one of the few teams that actually stayed together after last season. This is the exact same squad they did play with last year. The Gauthier team, on the other hand, has been put together presumably for the next quadrennial, take a run at the Olympic spot. Although young enough, they could perhaps choose to make a run at a few Olympic spots. The attempt to come around on the corner guard comes up short, staggers the corners. It gives Gauthier a chance to make a play in the middle. Shot stone belongs to Colton Flasch at the back of the forefoot. I don't think he can see enough of the yellow to tap it directly to that red, but can definitely move it up enough to be shot rock. And in behind cover.
Yeah, there's a bit of swing here, so I mean they might be able to get to it, but it's pretty delicate. You may not want to mess around with it. And you wreck on the guard, doesn't really help you much here. And this one's coming very close to the guard.
Yeah, that's close. He's pretty much right on the nose. Sometimes it's a little tricky for us to see the line on those two. The sweeper or the shooter following his own rock down. We really couldn't see the line on that coming in, but ends up with a straight back tap. He's sitting second and third, and his two stones in front of the tee line. It's not a horrible situation for Jacques Gauthier. Those two stones at the top of the 8-foot are presenting a little bit of difficulty for Colton Flasch. He can only really move one of them.
Yeah, it's hard to see if the one closer to the center line is just a hair behind.
I would say it's just a bit behind, but it's almost touching. I don't know if we've got a shot from the overhead camera. You can tell whether or not you touch one and it moves the second one. And if it does that, the one yellow would come straight back. So Colton Flasch had looked at playing it as a hit and roll. He's going to go back to the straight draw around the corner guard.
Yeah, I think it's not great for you. You almost have to wait for Gauthier to make a play on that because you don't really want to disturb it because it just seems like it's bad for Flasch here.
Yeah, if those two stones are touching, there's no way to get the yellow that you can see past the red at the back because it'll touch that yellow and come straight back. Still, there's room with where those corner guards are situated. Captain Schneider can bury this and still have second shot.
I'm going to say this one doesn't seem to be in danger of wrecking on the guard, so.
Well, probably as much as anything else on the last attempt, just that little bit light and not able to hold the line. He's got T-line weight on this one, comes in dead behind and does, for the time being, sit two. Sterling Middleton being asked one more time to try that tap on the stone in the 8-foot. Just a bit of a clean from the brushers this time. He's got a lot more line. Now sweeping from the offside, looking for a little extra curl. And you could just see that as it came in, it did touch the other yellow stone, but only just barely. So it pushes it on a bit of an angle and hard to tell who's rock. I tell you what, the other A qualifying game, they almost wore out the measuring stick. So
they did, yeah.
Already here in the first end. A couple of rocks around the edge of the 4-foot, still rocks to come. May not come down to a measurement, but the possibility's there.
So as you see this kind of situation, who do you think this end favors with all these kind of rocks in play? We've got a lot of little interesting angles and guards in play.
Well, right now, if you're just asking me, my opinion, I think it favors Colton Flasch because the center line is still open. Most of the rocks are at or behind the tee line. There is that one stone, the shooter that Sterling just threw that's open, top of the 8-foot. That one's a bit of a problem stone, and that's why he's going after it. You know, it's not shot. It's third, and he can't play the double off of it because he jammed. But it's the only stone that's really bothering him right now.
Interesting that it looks like he's playing the intern here.
Yeah, I think he wants the flatter roll. keep some angle on this redstone to get it at the yellow at the corner of the 4-foot later. They had to sweep actually for curl just to make sure they got it by their corner guard. Hits it right on the nose. It sits for 4th right now. But again, that's the only shot, the only rock that Gauthier has easy access to. He can see the stone at the back of the 4-foot. The guard will be in his line of sight. Of course, you make that shot, all your rocks are behind the tee line as well. Haven't really seen either team indicate which rock they believe is shot stone.
The fact that they're talking about making a play on the one in the back forward leads me to think that they think red is shot here.
Well, the only other one they could play is 4th, and they're not going to get second shot off of it. The problem with coming to the back one, again, as I said, it would leave all your rocks behind the tee line. So they are going to make the play on the stone at the top of the 8-foot. He wants to hit and roll. You could make the double on the.
I was going to say, yeah, the one on this, just above the tee line on the side.
Yeah. The problem is you got to be a little careful. They're playing for the roll. They're looking at the roll, and if they get the double, that's great. But you want to be careful. If you try too hard for the roll, hit that first one a little bit too thin, you could jam that second one and spin it into the 4-foot for shot rock. Looks like with that broom placement, though, he's planning to throw this with some up weight, hit it just off the nose. Shouldn't be any danger of a jam like that. And again, with the in-turn, looking for a fairly flat roll here. And we're on the brush right away. Boy, this is dangerously close to jamming it. Jams it, comes across, moves a couple of red ones, but in the end now, no doubt who's got shot rock.
Yeah.
Just a little too thin on the contact there. They did jump the brush right away. He had the broom right in the middle of the rock. You wonder if maybe pinched it just a hair. It does give Colton Flasch a chance to draw sit 2. Ideally, keep his shooter in front of the tee line. Doesn't necessarily need to bury either. If he's edge to edge with the guard, he actually would take away the inside of the back stone, make it a little bit harder for Gauthier to play the freeze on his last one. And there's still the 2 rocks at the back of the 4-foot would be jam possibilities, so it'd be hard for him to play a hit on the stone that Colton's about to deliver. So, you look at a shot like this and you think, well, he's trying to bury it. I'm not sure he is. Edge to edge on the guard, sliver underneath is probably enough.
Yeah, I think so.
This has got a lot of room. We have seen them, though, if he's got the draw weight, they'll go sideways at the end.
Does he have the weight now? Yeah.
Maybe had to bring that a little deeper than they would have liked,
Yeah.
but had to make sure he got to the inside of his stone at the back.
Boy,
He's
is there
deep enough
room here?
He is deep enough now. If Jacques Gauthier wanted to freeze to that, probably gets the force. Be very difficult for Colton Flasch to get a second one in there. He's looking at trying to pass it through. Boy, this is really tough. If you stay on the broom side of this at all, you're going to put it onto the Yellowstone, and if you roll. Colton Flasch, in his opening 2 games, scored 4 in the first end, both times.
Really?
You tap this on the center line side, on the broom side, and you're going to leave him a shot for 4 again.
So are you looking just for like board weight here, or are you like hack?
With that broom, I gotta think you're right. I think it's got to be hack. I think that's
Yeah.
probably too much ice for board. You can't hit this on the broom
You can't
side.
get the high side, yeah.
Yeah, you put it on the yellow, and it's definitely a shot for 3, and it might be for 4 if you leave everything queued up.
It's got a curl here.
Yeah, they were on the sweep from the hold it straight side early. Gets just enough movement at the end.
Wow.
Pushes it straight back, but well, there's got to be a double there on the yellows. Whether or not you can make it for 3 or not, that's debatable. It's probably there for 2, though. Try to drive the first one back on an angle to hit a third to a half on the second one. The top stone will go over the top of the reds. The question will be whether or not that back yellow clips something back there. It might clip the back one. And if you can hold the shooter, it's for 2. Can't whip it if he's going to try to hold the shooter, though.
Well, it looks like they were deciding on the corner of the stone, so it looks like it's going to be...
Yeah, he's going to throw some weight at this.
Yeah, unless they just plan to just brush it out of hand and keep it really tight.
Well, yeah, it's possible what they're looking at is you hit the first one a little bit thicker than what I was talking about. Catch the second one thin, make sure it clears the back, and then the first stone you're running back will hit the yellow, probably clip the red again, but it'll be spinning with the weight that he's going to throw here, and maybe get it out across the top. So there's a couple of ways you could do this to get 2. Did not throw this as hard as the broom would have indicated, but he had to be wide because he had the broom on the edge of the rock, and he just barely makes contact enough to catch the second stone, and we may have a measurement. It's going to be close.
Oh, no, that's red all day.
Well, Callan Schneider's backed away from it, but Sterling Middleton took a couple of looks, and I think they have decided it's time to see if that stick's got any measurements left in it. And of course, this is always the way it works. Televised game, you need a measurement. The measuring stick's going to be at the far end.
Oh, yeah. Back at the home end, yeah.
That's just the rule. That's just, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which end you need to measure at. The measuring stick's always at the other end. I'm just blowing up my screen huge, and I'm still, you're sure it's red. It's close.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be red. Well, again, right? We're working with the cameras that we have in the facilities, and so you never know.
Now, the 2 measurements that we had this afternoon, this morning, neither time did either of the thirds bother to point at the rocks, suggesting we needed somebody to go talk to the player and remind them, you're on TV and there's no umpire. Let us know. So past the yellow, boy, it looks like the stick's going to touch both of them for sure. And Callan Schneider has seen measurements done before. He pulls the yellow stone away. It is 1 red. Colton Flasch will get the single point with last rock in first end. Takes the 1-0 lead. Jacques Gauthier with last rock when we come back.
You can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to keep you and your farm ahead of the curve. Grow with us at victorycanola.com.
Our partnership with Curl Canada is phenomenal. I mean, to be able to have a partnership like that at the national level, to be a part of the events that take place across Canada is phenomenal. To have our product available in those venues is phenomenal. phenomenal. But it really is, curling is really, for us, it's a grassroots sport. To be able to connect within the communities that are supporting the teams, just like yourselves, the clubs, the provincial level organizations as well. You know, for our ability to be partners with Curl Manitoba, Curl Sask, Curl Alberta, and Curl BC.
It's an exciting sport to watch. It fits really well with our brands. You know, there's lots of people at the rinks watching you guys curl who are sipping on an 016, which fits really well for us. And have the opportunity to celebrate with you guys makes it even that much better at the end of the day.
Welcome back, everyone. Just to confirm, Colton Flasch did win the measurement there, so he did pick up the single point in the first end. We'll get that corrected right away here. They threw the center guard to start the end off. Jacques Gauthier calls for the corner, and there is the come around by Daniel Marsh coming to the corner of the button. Still left a piece of that stone available, so Alex Horvath going to make a play on it. Looking to come down, pass that stone through the rings and roll to the corner. Nicely done to the back of the forefoot, hanging on there. Forces Colton Flasch to make a play on it, which in turn doesn't really allow him to use that center guard.
Looks like he's just asking for notes here. It didn't seem to indicate he wanted to try to roll.
No. If he comes behind the corner or behind the center now, he'd be behind the T line, and you might see Jacques Gauthier go peel his guard. Content to hit. And now with the rock in the rings outside of the house, Gauthier took one quick look at just coming around the corner, and I think what it came down to is he took a quick look at where they could be buried. They wouldn't be shot rock. And doesn't really need to gamble that hard in the second end, so what he's going to do, make a play on the shot stone. Probably try to stay right there. Boy, this one's really curling. Yeah. Not going to stay there for sure. Barely makes contact. Not enough to get it out of the rings.
Wow.
A little surprising that they throw it that quietly when they're trying to stay out there on the corner. That's the kind of weight you expect to see teams when they're trying to control a roll. Didn't really need to roll on that one.
So they had a free chance here to draw underneath the center guard here. Plenty of room here, but should finish pretty hard here.
Yeah, you almost have to have plenty of room coming by the guards on these with these rocks, because you come tight by the guard, it'll come right out the other side. There's a good example of it. He had plenty of room by the guard. It's half buried. And for Colton Flasch, you know, part of that is you got to be cautious. You can't over curl that guard. If you pop out the other side, you've left Jacques Gauthier the side that he needs to hit and roll behind his corner.
This one's got some room to go.
Barely making contact on the last stone, not able to get it out of play.
Wow.
Barely makes contact on this stone, leaves it in the back of the 12 as well. That little accumulation of biters around the outside. Those are the kind of things that can stop you from having any chance to blank this end. And again, like you said on the last one, it gives the Flash team, this time Colton Schneider, another free pass at coming around that center guard and see if they can't bury one a little better.
It looked like maybe they took a hair less ice on this one. This one seems to be running a bit more, though. I don't think they want to go for the weight.
There's a lot of rotation on this stone, too. All of these players will tend to throw their rocks fairly positive, have a good rotation because they know how hard they curl, but that looked like a little more than perhaps Catlin's normal rotation. Held it straighter, plus it allows it to carry a little further. It ends up in the back 8. And now with, as we said, not looking good for any chance at a blank, Jacques Gauthier going to try to come around and see if he can't manufacture a deuce here.
Yeah. Now, is it because it's so late in the end, there's no reason to go behind the corner?
Yeah, probably, and also because, I mean, if you bury it perfectly behind the corner...
Flash is just going to meet the center anyway. So.
Yeah, I was going to say you might not be shot rock, but I think it covers enough of the 8-foot you could be shot rock if you're right on the tee line. And you're right, Colton Flasch, if you make it perfect, he's not going to chase. He's going to go around the middle, and then you're facing a possible steal again. Now, they certainly didn't want to be deep. Once they realized they were going to be back tee, they brought it as far back as they could so that if the Flash team freezes to the face of it, there'll be room for you to get another one in front of it for shot rock. And that's just good communication. You'll see a lot of times, too many times, I'm afraid. It's usually my team. When you realize that stone's a little bit deep, you need to bring it back. Too often you sit there hoping and praying it'll stop just in time, and it never does. It always stops 6 inches behind the button where the other team can freeze to it, and you have no shot to score after that.
Yeah, I think that's always kind of a interesting problem. You know, no one ever wants to, sweep it deep, but then you always hate the result afterwards. Yeah.
Colton Schneider a little deep on his first one. Still has lots of rotation on this one. But that adjustment on the weight, he comes down to the face of that stone.
Yeah, on that rock, you could see it just kind of hit the break point just a bit earlier than his earlier one.
Still, it did leave room, as we said. If Sterling Middleton can come and sit right on top of that stone, he will be shot rock. Probably also covering the pin. I'm not sure how you ever get 2, but right now, Gauthier will be, first of all, concerned with making sure he's got a shot to score. That's where you need this freeze. Boy, they're really working this hard. He's tight by the guard. He may completely overcurl the rock at the back. And that shows you exactly what we were talking about earlier in the end. You come by a guard tight, that rock is completely open past the guard, and it was still back 4 foot. So for Colton Flasch, another chance to put one in top button. He could almost come down to his own stone if he gets to the inside. I don't know if Jacques Gauthier could even move it far enough to get shot rock. He'd have to move it. If he sits on his own, I'm sure that his stone is covering the pinhole. Jacques would have to move it. I don't know how far you could get it to go. The yellow's kind of in the way too.
Jumping in early out of hand here.
Definitely has tighter line than what Colton Schneider had. Now he can afford to get to the inside of his own stone at the back button, but they're going to have to work this to get to the rings. It's not going to be there. and just overlaps the guards too. So Colton Flasch, although without last rock, he's not likely to be running anything back, but he's taken any opportunity for that away. Gauthier, another chance to make the draw, and needs to make it here in order to be sure that he's going to have a chance to score at all. May not have anything to shoot at for 2, but this might be the only shot you have to score 1.
Would you ever consider taking the out turn side here, knowing that you have maybe a little bit of backing if you're just a pinch wide?
Well, they haven't seen it yet. Now, that's one of the things in a bonspiel like this. This is only the 3rd game for each of these teams. I don't know whether either one of them has been on this sheet before. They did happen to catch a little bit of the pregame practice. This is the side of this sheet that Gauthier threw his draw to the button on, so he may feel more comfortable on this side of the sheet anyway. Certainly the whole end has been played on this side.
Looks like it should be around the guard, and once it gets by, it should have plenty of finish here.
He's got a lot of weight. This is probably bumping a little bit. I don't know if there's room that he can bump it and sit 2. No, he'd never get to the inside of it. Bumps it a little bit. It is still second shot at the back. Jacques Gauthier with his shooter gets shot rock, but that little bit of a flop out probably has left Colton Flasch room to get to the inside of that. Boy, interesting with that broom placement. I got to think, and Catlin wants more than Colton does. That really looks like Colton's planning to throw the weight to move that stone. Because I think for dead draw, I think the broom would be closer to where Catlin had it.
Yeah. Well, do you think him being so light on his first one kind of factors into this, that he's just maybe looking to throw back 8, back 12 here?
You know what, with Catlin, or with Colton, I don't think it does. He is a confident thrower, and this is a team that they've had last rock in the first end of every game they played. He draws very well. I think the first one was probably just more uncharacteristic. I think what factors into this one is the chance to sit 2 and perhaps steal 2, but he's got to get to the inside of that yellow stone. They have to wait for it to curl.
Did hit his break point, and it is starting to go sideways, but
he's got the weight. Just didn't quite get to the inside. Enough to sit shot rock, though. I don't even think we're going to need the measuring stick.
No, is he going to run the corner here? Yes.
I think he probably is, because I don't see what else he's got. And I don't see any way he can hurt himself running it in. Like, there's no way he can run that in, kill a yellow, and roll it out.
Yeah.
There actually is the possibility he could score 3 with this.
Yeah, well, I guess if he goes really thin and hits the top side of that red one.
Basically the side of the red one, and then have the raised stone come straight back onto the second red one at the back of the 4-foot.
Yeah, if he makes it, there's 3 here.
Your only other option is the out turn draw for 1, and that's no gimme either.
That's,
in a spot that nobody's thrown yet this end. It would be a bit of a guess. Such a wide target back there. Like, if you hit it thick and actually drove it onto the Yellowstone that is actually 4th shot and spun it towards the middle, you're still probably shot rock. So you do have a wide target area back there of rocks you can drive this into, and it probably works out for you for 1.
Yeah.
If he drives it right onto the shot rock, definitely a shot for 2, and there's a couple of ways this could work out to perhaps get 3. If he dead jams it onto the red at the top of the button, it might clip the back yellow too, just enough to push that red. Throwing it with some weight, Jacques Gauthier with his final stone here in the second end, looking for an angle run, see how many he can get out of it. Clips it, catches 2 of them, and does pick up 3 points. Jacques Gauthier, an outstanding angle run with his final stone. Takes a 2-point lead over Colton Flasch after 2 ends of play, and it'll be Flasch with last rock in the 3rd.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to keep you and your farm ahead of the curve. Grow with us at victorycanola.com.
Had some questions about if our houses are painted or are they logo. Our events are always painted houses, but in the future coming out, I'm pretty sure we're going to be going to all logo houses. They're a great revenue source for any curling club. You can get your advertisements on there, and usually after the first year, the houses are paid for. It's all free money for you. So hopefully check Jet Ice out for your future in-house logo.
Outstanding shot by Jacques Gauthier with his final stone, the angle run in. Kind of makes you wish, Mark, that we had instant replay so we could see it again. But of course, for the viewers, if you're watching at home on YouTube, you can go back, take a look at it. That's an outstanding shot. You might want to watch it again. We'll be right here when you get back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, what a fantastic shot. Yeah, I've got my I'm working with two monitors here, so I've got the YouTube feed and the side monitor where I'm monitoring the chat, and
There you go.
got
You
a
have
chance
watched
to
the
watch the
replay then.
replay. Oh yeah.
You know, it's a good illustration, though, of just how important those couple of inches are. Had Colton Flasch got to the inside with his last draw, that shot's not there.
Oh, you're exactly right. Yeah, absolutely.
As we start things off in the third end, we had a center guard, a corner guard, a come around, a freeze, another freeze now.
Wow.
And that is the fifth rock of the end. So Colton Flasch does have the option now to start moving guards if he'd like.
Yeah, from the overhead cam, you could see how sideways that kind of went from the hog line in.
Kevin Marsh now looking to follow that down. And I think they might like to have a little bit of angle on this one.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were just coming to the corner of it or just maybe just tapping it and rolling towards.
Well, I think if you get a little bit of angle on this one, now when you run something back, the yellow will be going at a bit of an angle. So the two yellows would go and both reds probably stay.
Yeah.
Jacques Gauthier, not much left he can do with the middle. If you did, it still leaves the same opportunities to run something back. And the other factor there is that that top red stone now is queued up to roll towards this corner guard. So maybe we get rid of the corner guard here.
Yeah.
Jason Ginter definitely wants to roll away from there. He's going to end up, he'll exchange the stones, so it's now a yellow corner guard, but it is still a corner guard. The lineup on the stones in the middle right now pretty much favors Colton Flasch. Everything's queued, as I said, for the yellows to go and the reds to stay. And doesn't actually have to play it just yet. He wants to go around the corner guard first. Can't blame him, really. He can play that stuff in the middle anytime.
Yeah, are they just... Yeah, I guess why? Yeah, why wouldn't you? I guess unless you're worried that Gauthier just goes ahead and makes a play on that, and just to unlock the back yellow one. But even then, you don't hate that necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what can he do to unlock that doesn't kind of work in your favor? They've got such a good angle on the top too. You know, that red yellow, when it catches the second red, the yellows, even with quiet weight, that yellow's going to roll over a little bit. And the reds really aren't going anywhere. This is an interesting call. They're not even looking to run this back. This is just looking to get rid of the center guard, give themselves direct access onto the angles in the house. I think this is a straight hit and roll. I don't think he looks like he's trying to run this back.
Yeah, I think so. It looked like he was indicating to maybe roll to another corner or to the corner on the same side.
Yeah, get a double corner on that left-hand side as we face Colton Flasch. This is going to have to come up a little bit, looking for a little bit extra curl at the end. He'll make the hit, come across. He's going to roll past the yellow guard. Does hang on for a wide corner, but not a double corner now. Still, all the angles in the middle favor Colton Flasch. Hard for Jacques Gauthier to do a lot with that. I expect you're right, though, Mark. He's probably going to have to try to do something to jiggle him around right now, even knowing that that might help Colton Flasch, but you can't just leave that there forever and wait for Colton to play it whenever he wants.
Yeah, just tapping into back four.
Yeah. I thought he might want to spend a little more time just looking at where he wants to hit the first one, just to make sure that you the only two that you can really 100% try to control the angle on is your shooter and that first red. So you might want to be careful as to where you hit this so that you can line something up with it. Sterling Middleton looking to move some things around here. Makes the tap on the nose. Moved his own to the back of the forefoot.
Yeah. I think it was just a bit tight. I think they had to go for the line and maybe just hit it a little bit thicker than they wanted.
Colton Flasch now looking at all the angles. What's the best shot for them? They do have a couple of options. It's hard to tell right now. The yellow red at the top of the 12-foot. If you played that, would it hit the Will it clip the yellow, or does it go by the yellow and make contact on the red? And certainly they're close enough together it could drag, so it could matter how you hit that.
Yeah, I think you missed that middle yellow, so I think it hits the red here, but definitely it'll be interesting here.
I think Colton's playing the back one. Where those angles matters, it might affect what Jacques Gauthier plays after this.
Yeah.
They got to go to get by the stone at the top.
It's a bit tight. Oof.
Makes the hit, does roll across, and it was important to get the roll. They wanted to try to roll far enough so that the yellow red in the 8-foot weren't lined up to it. And I can't tell whether that goes by or not. It's close to it.
Ooh, yeah.
I still can't tell.
Yeah, initially I thought red, but no, I don't think he can. Yeah, no, I think it gets that yellow. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at the yellow red in the 8-foot. If he hits that, does it clip the one at the back?
I don't think it
Can
does.
he double the red? It's tough. It's close.
It's close.
He's going to make a direct play onto Shot Rock anyway.
Yeah.
And that was why the Flash team was sweeping the roll. They knew that angle was there. They were trying to roll it far enough so that they didn't leave the double. Makes the hit, stays right there. Colton Flasch now, his turn to decide which way is the better roll for us. His first thought was to roll behind the corner. Now looking at rolling back button. And again, the biggest factor here is he wants to make sure that they don't leave the shooter in the path of that yellow-red combination to leave a red double. Catlin Schneider. They're on the brush on this one early. Looking to roll. Certainly, I think if you nose hit now, you're leaving the double. And this, they might have overswept that.
Yeah.
Got caught. I think they're expecting big finish and maybe a little more weight than they were looking for. Never called the sweep off. It does hang on to the edge of the 12-foot. So for now, Flash sitting 1. There is that Yellowstone corner frozen on it. Jacques Gauthier looking at making a play on that. We were talking earlier, just wondering if you hit the yellow-red combination at the top, does it clip the yellow? And I think if you were sure it goes by the yellow, he'd be playing that to double the 2 reds. I'm not sure it does go by the yellow. I don't
think it does. Yeah.
I think it touches it. Now again, they're close enough. You could use drag, but that's a little less predictable. Not sure what it is they're talking about with the corner guard. I have to believe that's something they're worried about Colton Flasch doing. I can't imagine they would ever consider drawing, and I don't see how they're rolling over there either. So
yeah, no, I mean,
so I'm not sure what they had a couple of gestures toward the corner guard. I think that's got to be something they're worried about. That's what they're worried that Colton Flasch is going to do. You make this hit, and he's still got that draw around the corner.
Yeah, I can't think he can never play off this top one because there's.
Well, from the overhead view, if you were going to play the top one, you'd have to hit it on the broom side, the left side from the overhead, because you'd need it to drag a little bit to make sure it got by your own.
Yeah.
it's a great shot if you can make it. If you can double the reds and leave yourself sitting 2, that's the best result. But it's by no means guaranteed that you get by your own stone. So they're going to make the play on the yellow-red, and I think what they're worried about perhaps is that Colton Flasch might have a shot with some drag playing from the other side to try to double the yellows and maybe roll both behind the corner. It's the only thing I could think of that they were gesturing to the corner. That's the shot that Colton's looking at.
That top combination, and just
you hit half a rock on the yellow.
Yep.
From the other side, get a little bit of drag into the yellow at the 8-foot, and could you get your shooter and the middle red stone to both squirt over towards the corner guard?
Yeah.
The top yellow's probably not leaving the rings. I mean, if you threw the weight to make sure it left, you're never holding your shooter.
No, but I mean, I think if you catch it, I think there's a good chance. And you don't necessarily have to kill it anyways, right? If you're sitting 1-2 afterwards, right? With one of them buried, you've got to like your...
Yeah, it's going to be tough to be sitting 1-2, I think. I don't think that top yellow is going very far if you're going to keep the shooter. And I think it's probably hard for your shooter to beat the top yellow. But if you get the 2 reds to kind of roll together, you can probably protect shot rock. You still got that biter at the back that could end up on the scoreboard. I definitely think this is what they're going to play. The question I think it boils down to is how much do you want to hit to get the right roll, and how much weight do you want to play at it? I think that's likely all the discussion is here. The quieter you throw it, the thinner you can hit the first yellow one and still keep your shooter, but that makes it harder to move that third stone, the shot rock, the yellow shot rock. Doesn't go as far when you do that. You have to get it at least through the 8-foot. Be nice to pass it through the back of the rings. Pass it through the back of the rings, and that one at the back is still a factor. Well, the front end has been dispatched, but Catlin and Colton still talking about it. And you got to think with that broom, they're going to throw probably like a normal hit weight at this. Try to hit it fairly thick, so when he rolls across into the 12-foot, he won't get a big bite of the 12. I still don't think the top yellow is ever leaving the rings, but if you roll for a bite, roll the second raise stone in behind the corner and kill the back yellow, you could be sitting shot, third and fourth after this, and that one yellow just at the top of the 12-foot is going to be looking pretty lonely.
I just worry about this weight if you're going to keep that second red, but
yeah, did not hit that as thin as he would have liked. Didn't get much drag, and so loses the middle stone, the raised stone. Continues to be Gauthier sitting 1, the stone at the top of the 12-foot. Flasch does have second and third. Jacques immediately going to play the hit on the back one. Well, this could be interesting because I'm not sure there's anywhere you can hit this that you're not going to leave a double for 2. But the risk in playing it is that the 2 rocks are going to be about 11 feet apart.
Yeah.
And if you don't make contact with the second stone, it's a steal.
Yeah. Someone in the chat is asking if this game is timed. I don't believe these games are timed.
There. I should think by now it would be obvious they're not playing with time clocks,
Yeah.
or they'd already be in trouble. Jacques Gauthier
Hurting quite a bit
needing
here.
to stay here. Going to over curl just enough that rolls out the back and leaves Colton Flasch the chance for the hit for 2. Does look like you'll have to roll just a little bit to the center line to make sure he's biting. And really can't afford to whip it, because if he comes too far towards the center line and touches the back end of his red stone, he might push it out the front of the house.
Yeah, he might force himself here.
Yeah, actually, probably if you wanted to, could roll broomside too and count on the spin to bring you into the rings.
Yeah.
Might be just that the only thing you really can't do is hit it right on the nose. You might not be in the rings. Looking for every last bit of curl they can get. Gets just enough across the nose, makes the hit, does bite the top of the 12-foot. Put 2 points on the board for Colton Flasch. After 3 ends of play, we're all tied up. Jacques Gauthier with last rock in the 4th.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like. Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Sean Joyce, Mark No with you here from the IG Wealth Management Western Showdown. A-qualifier action Saturday afternoon. All tied up 3 apiece after the 3rd end. Gauthier with last rock here as we begin the 4th. Colton Flasch opting to start this 4th end off with the double centers. Gauthier had thrown the corner guard up early, now looking to come around those double centers. The lead is Alex Horvath. Nothing out of the brushers so far. They're just waiting for the line. Still on the corner guard now, starting to move. Plenty of room by the guard. Does not want to be behind the tee line here.
It's gonna overguard.
He just wanted to take it easy on his sweepers. Just put it right in the perfect position by himself.
That's a nice one. That's always a nice one to get. Yeah, shaping up to be an interesting end here with some guards in play. I think that's the same corner guard that he ran back in a couple ends ago. Yeah.
Boy, it's awfully close to the same position, yeah. and may well be the same stone.
Yeah.
Because it was probably thrown with the Leeds first stone 2 ends ago as well. Kevin Marsh looking now to come around from the other side, sit on the corner of that yellow. He could have followed it down, played the same turn. The problem is with that, hard to sit on the corner and protect your shooter. By doing it this way, you can see he's kind of cornered, although they left more separation than they might have liked. But the shooter is dead behind cover as well. Gauthier now will look to corner freeze from the other side. This is just all part of the game nowadays with the 5-rock free guard zone. Two teams jockeying for position, both trying to set up angles. Last end, early in the end, it was Flasch who had the angles all in his favor. Jacques Gauthier had to move things around. Yet had he made his last shot and held it, Colton Flasch would have had a difficult shot to score. Now with that attempt, it had the corner, but a little too much weight, rubs off. Has probably left room for the double on the yellows. Kevin Marsh, bigger weight this time, wants to hit this just slightly on the high side. Just enough to catch the second stone, not enough to get it out of the rings. I think it is the Flasch stone at the top of the 8-foot sitting shot rock. Apparently close enough. Gauthier's got to look at it a couple of times. Don't know that it matters. It's that stone at the top of the 8-foot's the easiest one to make, or the one you need to make a play on. That's the most dangerous stone for Gauthier right now. And you do have to be, it's a delicate shot to make a play on it because it's, well, what would you say, just a little bit more than half undercover on the longer guard. Jason Ginter trying to come around the guards. He's tight to the center one, and that still leaves him having to get by the tighter one. Oof. And he just rubbed it.
Yeah.
You might want to peek at your YouTube replay, but I think he rubbed the back end of that guard coming by.
Definitely touched the back side of it.
Just enough to straighten out the shooter, and actually probably picked up a little extra spin too. And after he does make contact, spins well out over in front of the other Yellowstone.
Not a bad result there.
Well, it's not a good result. He pushed
Redstone
further in behind cover and left a double on the yellows. But again, they wanted to hit that a lot thicker than they did. Now, a little fortunate that they came directly into the side of their own stone. So actually now shot rock is a little closer to the button, and it's totally buried. Now that stone in the 8-foot, top of the 8-foot, they can get to it, so they could play a double on the two rocks in the rings.
I was gonna say, you can maybe get a double, maybe a little bit of a roll towards the corner.
Towards the corner? Well, I think if you're playing the double over the top, you're probably losing. Yeah. You're losing the shooter. I'm wondering if there's just enough room there to get a sliver of a roll underneath the two red guards and still make the double. You can't roll dead buried, I don't think, because then you're driving it by the one in the 4-foot. But you get any sliver underneath, and that still becomes a problem rock for Colton Flasch. Doesn't look like they're throwing the big weight here to really go after the double. Looks like they may be more interested in getting the roll. Really gonna have to go to get by. Makes the hit. will catch the second stone, but with that quieter weight, not enough to get both reds out. Flasch continues to sit 1, but it is over on the corner now. And that Yellowstone top 12 foot, it's in a usable position for the Gauthier team. Colton Flasch's first instinct was to deal with it.
Yeah.
Thinking about drawing, I think, but if you do that, then
Yeah,
that
Gauthier
Yellowstone
just
is
taps on
there
it,
for
yeah.
him to play up. Your thought process here, though, if you're Colton Flasch, is that we make a play on this Yellowstone, it really doesn't matter what we do. Jacques Gauthier is coming around.
Yeah.
So you want to leave your shooter in a spot where you can use it.
Just wants to maybe stay a little bit on the high side here.
Just where he's fully out in the open, where he can
Yeah.
do something with this rock if he needs to. That stone's a little bit dangerous. Jacques Gauthier may want to make a play on it. You might be able to make the double in the roll behind center now. Or the straight draw. The problem is if you play that top stone and do roll buried, Colton Flasch is going to draw. So they are going to play the hit. I'm just not sure. Are they playing for the roll for sure, or are they just going to try to stay right there and leave their rock in a usable spot? You play for the roll, you might make the double. But again, you do that, your stone is now under cover. You can't use it again. And Colton Flasch is going to come around it.
I think they're going to try to roll big here. I think he was
past the centers.
Past the centers, yeah. I think he was initially tapping that earlier.
It's an option. It doesn't look like there's a ton of room to do that, but threw a little more weight here, so maybe. But now they're sweeping for curl. That's not a good sign. Going to hit it broom side. Rolls in behind the corner. He does have a bite of the 12, but Flasch stone at the back of the 8 foot continues to sit shot, and now no reason for him not to come around the middle. And now we're back to that same draw that everybody was playing in the second end. And Colton Flasch, for whatever reason, in the second, was probably throwing a little tighter ice than most of the other players and still didn't get to the inside with his last one. So it looks to me like he's tightened the ice up a little bit more here for this attempt. The guards are actually on center line this time. I think they were a little just off center last time, so he does have a tighter line in the first place.
Yeah. Sweepers don't look to be super worried about it, just kind of escorting it down closely.
Starting to move now. You know these will go almost sideways coming into the house.
Now is this going to peek out the other side?
Yeah, I wouldn't be sweeping from the side to make it curl.
Yeah.
Manages to get dead buried on the tighter of the two guards. Jacques Gauthier looking at, I think that gesture was if we make the corner freeze here, then we've got the angle run in again for the last one.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right?
So you make the corner freeze now. I don't think he's looking at the angle run right now. I think he's talking about make this corner freeze.
Yeah.
On that side, then everything's lined up when he plays the run back. Now, of course, Colton Flasch still has another rock to throw in between.
Sure.
But you make this and turn around and say, okay, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Colton Flasch has already seen this angle run made on him once.
Yeah, now he is going to have to play it from this other side, so.
Yeah, he does have to play the draw on the other side because he needs to cue it up on that angle for that for the run back to work for him this time.
Yeah, there's almost enough curl where you can do it from the intern side, but this gives you
Yeah,
just so
true.
much more margin of error, though. Yeah.
Jacques Gauthier with his first stone here in the fourth end, all tied up. Looking for the corner freeze. Flasch sitting 2 right now. Gauthier, if he can put this right on the corner where he'd like it, would be second shot still, but hoping to set something up for his last one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, mission accomplished. Colton Flasch has no choice here. I don't think he's going to have to cover that. You can't leave him a direct path to that stone. That's too easy.
Yeah. I mean, the only other option would be hitting and rolling off that corner, but I mean, that's a lot to ask for, you know.
Well, and he's always got the in off on his own that he could try to play too.
Yeah, the one that's just like top 12, yeah.
Colton Flasch looking at, is there a spot where we can put this where we can both guard the direct path and take away the run back? And maybe.
Yeah, somewhere just full 12, maybe just biting the 8-foot ought to do it.
Yeah, it can't really come right down to it, I don't think, because, well, even then,
well,
like if you corner freeze it in such a way that Jacques could maybe nose hit it, I still think the rock at the back of the 8-foot, the lone one over on the left side beside Colton, from the back of the house, that one's still probably second shot. I think they're also talking about, do we come around and come and sit right on top of our own again and maybe sit 2? And that might be what they've opted for. Play the exact same shot. Gauthier did nudge that stone a little bit, so there's a little bit of room between them. Or is he indicating it's still essentially the same shot? Is he trying to get to his own or trying to corner freeze the yellow? You corner freeze the yellow and the angle run in is still probably only for 1. You ever freeze on your own and could be a potential 2. Puts a little bit more pressure on. Brushes are going to have to go to get this there. He's got plenty of room getting by. He's got to get down to at least to the Yellowstone to take anything away. And does sit on the corner of that Yellowstone. He is third shot. Gauthier has a shot at the one that he placed with his first one. He can play the angle run, the 6-inch angle run, but it's only for a single. There's no way to get his shooter in place for a second point. He still could play the angle run in. And if you run it into the crotch of the yellow-red, it still might be for 2, or does that yellow at the top of the 4-foot clip the red at the top of the button and come across and kill the one at the back 8? It might. If you run the angle right into the middle of the yellow-red that are both biting the top of the 4-foot, it might kill all 3 reds.
Yeah, I mean,
this is 3.
This is relatively risk-free, right? Like, he's never giving up more than 1 here.
Yeah, mind you, if he just goes direct at the stone he just threw, it's a pretty easy 1 as well.
Yeah. Oh, go for 3.
Well, I mean, you play that angle run in, and most of the time, even if you make contact, you're still only going to get 1.
You're still only going to get 1, yeah.
And if there was any way you could hit it disastrously and give up 2, and I don't know if there is, you'd have to look at it a bit, but if there was, then you definitely wouldn't play it. He played this shot with his first one for a reason, to make sure he had a shot for his second one. You may as well play the easiest shot you got left to make sure you score. Boy, he's got to get by the front one. makes the hit, and it spins a little bit, but stays full 4 foot. Will pick up his single point. Jacques Gauthier with 1 here in the 4th end. He'll take a 4-3 lead over Colton Flasch, and Flasch will have last rock when we come back.
The reason we trust Western Sales with our business is the people. I'm sure that there's 100 years experience coming out of that shop. We trust them because we do a CMI on our combine and on our tractor. When our equipment comes out of Western Sales, it's going to be good, because if it's not, they send us another combine, they send us another tractor. And we're not naive to the fact that that probably costs them a lot of money. So we just know that the service that we're getting at Western Sales is above par to everybody else.
The roaring game. We all love it, but sometimes curling just isn't as fun as it can be on the Nintendo Switch. Go get stuck in your curling club this year. Learn the game inside and out. Play for your favorite country and take the curling world by storm. With up to 4 players per console, you can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling. Available now only on Nintendo Switch.
(4-3) as we begin play here in the 5th end. The Gauthier team throwing the 2 center guards this time, and it was Colton Flasch throwing the 1 corner, and now looking with the lead second stone to come around the 2 centers. A little bit of a stagger on those center guards this time.
Yeah, a bit of a stagger here, so it looks like Flasch will just go ahead and come in behind the centers there.
You want to keep this stone high, but you definitely want to make sure it's in the house.
Yep.
Good job by the brushers to get that to bite the 8 foot. Gauthier, if he's going to come around for shot rock, probably having to come from the other side. What he's thinking here, that's a tighter port, certainly, when he's drawing this way. And you'd start to cue things up to roll towards the corner.
Yeah.
Mark, we were talking during the break. I think you were looking at the scores on some of the other sheets as well. We've got 2 B event games and a C event game on here as well this evening, or this afternoon, pardon me.
Yeah, we do. So we've got Team Clyders up 3-1 over Team Manners. They're in the 5th end. Team Cooey's up 6-2 over Sluchinski. I think that's a little bit of a revenge game since Sluchinski beat Cooey earlier, I believe. And then in our other draw, Team Jacobson's up 5-3 over Peters. They're in the 5th end as well. So all the information, you hop over to Curling Zone to see all the score, standings, rankings, and copy of the playoffs as well.
Not sure if Sluchinski played Cooey earlier, but if he did, he didn't beat him because it was Gauthier that actually beat
Was it Gauthier?
Cooey in the game last night. That's why Gauthier's in the qualifier here.
Gotcha. Yep, you're absolutely right. Okay. Yeah, I just remember seeing that posted on Facebook, but I couldn't remember the team.
The come around attempt by the Gauthier team comes up short, ends up as a third center guard. Now Kevin Marsh trying to come around through that port. Going to get the little rub on the corner and still manages to get to the face of his own. Sitting too buried. But he made the hole bigger.
Yep.
Jason Ginner, a lot of room yet. Still on the outside corner. Sweeping for some curl, and second brusher wants to be in there for weight as well.
Wow. I mean, they were on the corner, and now they cross center. Wow.
Typically, though, when you see two brushers down, it's an indication they want to take it for weight, too. That had plenty of weight. He ended up in the back button. Kevin Marsh being asked to come down, try to get to the face of that, and maybe move it a little bit. Now, I don't think you can likely throw the weight to move it all the way through the 12-foot, but you only have to move it maybe 2-3 feet on an angle into the back 8-foot, and you'd have a chance to get rid of it later on. Definitely is hoping to be a little bit tighter by these guards. Does look like he's got a much tighter line than the draw that was put there. Now, does he have enough weight to move it? Pushes it back about a foot. Didn't get much of an angle on it, so still really doesn't have access to pass it through.
Sorry, Gauthier, we're just looking to just come down, freeze to it, maybe tap it out a tiny bit.
I wouldn't be at all worried about tapping it. If you freeze here, you've probably got the force, and you know that Colton Flasch is going to have to try to move something.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to worry necessarily about tapping here. You get the freeze and leave it in a spot where Colton Flasch actually has to help you before he can help himself.
Was that by? Oh, wow.
Tighter line on this one yet, but it's a straight draw.
Wow. Yeah.
Gets to the face, taps it back, and again, tough to say whether or not we might have the measuring stick out again.
Yeah.
Still a lot of rocks to come. You got to expect those rocks in the 4-foot probably going to get moved at some point in time yet.
Too late to field the centers, or?
It's not too late. The question is, how do you approach it?
Yeah.
It would be great right now that the two, the closer two yellow guards, they're kind of lined up to go over the top of the reds. And if you could clip that red, go over the top of that red, clip that side that Colton's looking at, it's going to drag into that yellow at the top button. What Colton's looking at is, can we get there? Forget about the double raise onto it. Can we get there direct? The guard is long. It can't look great to your eye in the hacks, but you've been watching these rocks for 2 days. There's finish here. Has to get just by the top one, then count on the finish. You'll probably see them switch brushers as soon as they're by. By, catches the outside, gets enough of a drag to make contact with it, but just pushes it up into what is definitely now shot rock position for Jacques Gauthier. Second and third belong to Colton Flasch.
Yep.
As do about, what are they, fifth and sixth? There's a lot of rocks in the house right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's nothing behind, nothing out of play yet. Everything's still in the rings here.
Gauthier looking to come down, sit on top of the redstone at the top of the 4-foot. Does he maybe want to keep a bit of an angle here just so that any attempted play on this, the red goes over the... I'm just looking at the angles on the back ones. So you want to angle the top two, the one you're about to throw in the red, to go ever so slightly over the top of the yellow on the top of the button. That way it goes straight back into the red.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think getting to the inside doesn't really give you much here.
And then we might be back to your last question. And granted, it's 2 shots later now, but Colton Flasch might have to start peeling guards to make sure he's got a shot to score.
Oh, did that pick? I think that must have picked. It went straight sideways just before the hog line.
They brought the sweep off at the end regardless. I think if you get by that second guard, you probably end up curling so far that you're not going to take anything away. So at least they plugged things up a little bit more by rubbing.
Yeah.
There are 4 guards in front of the situation in the 4-foot.
I mean,
Colton Flasch be hard pressed to move more than 2 of them here, and I don't see any great angles in the house right now either.
I mean, I think he has to. There's a part of me that doesn't want him to, just so we have all rocks in play and a chance for all 16 in play, but that's... I think that's the arena curler in me.
Somebody, and I've got them behind the screen, Catlin Schneider, I think it is, looking at the angle run in. And, it's there to kill both yellows.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure it's something you want to play this early because it's an all or nothing shot. It is what they're lining up, though.
Yeah. Oof.
I don't see much of a plan B on this. That's the problem. If you're a little thin on the first one, you're going to drive it onto that stone in the 12-foot. I guess maybe.
Like, you're always
going
to
to
have
12-foot might catch the stone at the top of the 4.
Oh, if you catch it.
Yeah.
Thin,
If you make this perfect, you could double the 2 yellows and be sitting 4, I think,
4,
likely.
yeah.
But he catches the one at the top 12, drives it sideways, everything's out. Now you've got nothing left to run in. Yeah, I'm not sure you wanted to play that this early.
Yeah, you were always going to have that, so.
But you had a chance to set something else up in the middle, and now you're going to have to move 3 guards probably just to have a shot at anything in the middle.
Yeah, I guess, if he gets something on this intern side.
You might be at the spot point where if you're Colton Flasch, you almost have to concede a steal of 1 right now. Yeah. It's tough to play any runbacks on what's there because there is a possibility that the reds all fly and that middle yellow's not going anywhere, and then you have to bring another one in.
That's not going anywhere.
The only run back I see as we face the house, there is the guard on the right-hand side, so it's the left-hand side on the overhead view. You could run it back, try to run it onto the red, jam it onto the shot stone of the button. The problem is if you ever hit it on the again, as we look at it from the thrower's end, catch it on the right-hand side of that red, it'll catch the yellow, drive it back onto the red at the back. The only rocks leaving are the red ones.
Yeah.
And then Jacques Gauthier brings another one around, and it's potentially a steal of 2. So I think Gauthier feeling that the way the ice moves there was probably enough room. And again, Colton Flasch can't see more than a sliver of it, but he couldn't hurt himself playing at it. Try to pick it clean through the middle. He's taken that away with that guard.
Is he gonna have to play this? Is this the two yellows that are just left of center line? Is that tap onto the red? Oh, but yeah, you can't. That yellow's not going anywhere. Yeah.
The same problem exists. If you play it with any weight, the only rocks that are leaving for sure are the red ones. That yellow one's not going very far. You could play it, almost a draw weight tap.
Yeah.
But the same problem exists. I'm not sure you'd be shot rock when it jams on the back, and you still haven't created any way to get in with your last one.
Yeah, this is the only thing he has.
It's the only thing he has, but it's not like it's not without risk. It's the potential is here to, if you stuff the run back and the two reds leave, you've left Gauthier sitting two and throwing.
Close.
Makes the hit, catches the stone at the top of the button. They'll spill it over to the edge of the 12-foot. It is still Gauthier sitting shot rock. They did leave their own stone edge of the 4-foot, but it does give Gauthier the chance to hit and roll undercover, top of the button. He'll be sitting two buried with no chance to score.
Yeah, if he rolls like top button here,
it's a steal of two. I don't see any way to stop it.
Now, how far do you want to roll here? Do you want to roll? Oh gosh, yeah, even that long guard is covering the high side, so you can just straddle center here?
Yeah, if you rolled a split center, Colton Flasch might have to just hit the one out in the wings and give you two, because I don't think there's going to be any way for him to cut you down. The Flash team probably needed to make a play on the guards a little earlier. That angle run in, which was an all or nothing shot, and they got exactly nothing. And they didn't have a great angle set up. That was another one of those things. When you play those angle run-ins, you'd like to have one good angle in the house first, and they really didn't.
Sweeper's on this early.
Does need to hold the center line with this roll. If he over rolls it, he'll open up room for Colton Flasch to perhaps draw for the single. Boy, they overswept it. He rolled just far enough, I think.
Yeah.
Probably room now, though, for Colton to hold him to one, though. He can probably get to the face of that stone with enough to nudge the back one back.
Yeah.
Needed to roll 3-4 inches further. Still not a comfortable feeling for Colton Flasch when you're playing a shot like this, just to hold them to a steal of one.
Yep. When Gauthier's got 7 rocks in play, and you're throwing your last here. Not a great end for how it shook out, but a chance here.
Colton Flasch with his final stone. I don't think there's any chance for him to score. He's just looking to cut the steal down to a single point. He's going to have to, in order to do that, he's got to flirt with the guard a little bit.
Yeah.
He's got room by the guard. He's okay there.
Room, yeah.
Now, I don't know if he's got enough room, enough weight to move it.
Can we knife this over?
Only makes thin contact with the first one, rolls too far. It's still going to be a steal of 2. Jacques Gauthier. Steal of 2 in the 5th end, jumps out to a 3-point lead. Colton Flasch will have last rock once again in the 6th.
You can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling.
You reason we trust Western Sales with our business is the people. I'm sure that there's 100 years experience coming out of that shop. We trust them because we do a CMI on our combine and on our tractor. When our equipment comes out of Western Sales, it's going to be good, because if it's not, they send us another combine, they send us another tractor. And we're not naive to the fact that that probably costs them a lot of money. So we just know that the service that we're getting at Western Sales is above par to everybody else.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind. From pre-seed to post-harvest, you can count on the Victory Canola program to keep you and your farm ahead of the curve. Grow with us at victorycanola.com.
"16 teams began play yesterday morning here at the IG Wealth Management Western Showdown. We've got one team already through to the playoffs. Team Nicholas Adim winning the A-QUALIFIER this morning. There's still 14 other teams playing for the last 7 playoff spots. We're going to determine one more here in this matchup this afternoon. Jacques Gauthier with the early advantage. Well, I guess it's getting late now. He's 3 ends left to play. He's got a 3-point lead. They've played 2 rocks into the rings, and Colton Flasch splitting the house with corner guards. Quarterfinals are 7 o'clock Saskatchewan time Sunday night, so the winner advances to that. The loser of this game will be right back on the ice at 7 o'clock tonight, looking for a B event berth.
Yeah, and the qualifications through the playoffs are pretty important, right? You get a little bit of an advantage in the playoffs.
There is a bit of an advantage qualifying as the higher seed. We talk about it as the start of every game. You have that practice session, and you still get the practice session in the playoffs, but you draw for hammer in the preliminary round. In the playoff round, it is determined by seeding. So the A event winners will have a seeding advantage over the teams that come through the B and the C. The A event qualifiers are on opposite sides of the championship draw, so they can't play each other until the final. They would be guaranteed last rock through their first 2 playoff games. The B event teams likewise get that seeding advantage over the C event teams. The only time you throw a draw to the button in the playoffs is if you're playing somebody that came through the same event that you did.
Ah.
Five rocks in play now, so able to start making plays on the guards. Colton Flasch looking to run back the center. Like to make a little bit of noise in the middle, maybe kill at least one of the stones.
Yeah.
Takes the one out of the top 8 and actually rolls to leave a double corner on the right side as we face the house, the left on the overhead side. Jacques Gauthier looking at just making the straight peel on the tighter of the 2, I guess. The other option would be the double peel, but you're running the higher guard towards the middle, and boy, if you ever missed the second guard, you could jam it on your own stone. So you make this hit, and if you don't roll over and perfectly cover your own, Colton Flasch has the chance. He wants to try to use the corner guards.
Yeah, I think with the 3-point lead, I think it's a little bit different, right? You can just single peel here and be content. Oh, this one's got a curl.
Well, slides by everything. So 3 corner guards up, 2 on the left-hand side as Colton looks at it. Right-hand side as Kevin Marsh sees it.
Yeah.
Wow, thinking about coming from the wide side. That's, I mean, it's there, and club ice, it's there, but certainly with the amount of late finish and the big curl that there is here, I don't know where you'd have to put the broom to come around from the wide side.
Yeah,
Somewhere in the middle of the next sheet.
Ooh, is that enough ice?
It does look tight. Well, maybe accounting for that release, certainly there was a bit of an in-out motion there. That'll hold it straight early.
I guess they wouldn't hate it if they touched the tight guard, but
Room by the guards. I don't know if he's got the weight to get back far enough to bury.
Yeah.
They were tapping back 8 foot. He gets into the top 8, probably about half in behind cover. Same issue for Jacques Gauthier, though. He had half of the guard on the first one, and they slid right by it. If you make the same attempt on the rock in the house, you can't see any more of it than you could of the guard. Sterling Middleton now. Not the same thrower that threw the last one. This is the one where if you're playing in your Tuesday night beer league, you put the broom down and say, we're playing the same peel. And in the back of your mind as the skip, you're thinking, and if you throw it the same way you threw the last one, we'll hit the rock in the house.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, you're going to hit something here. Just throw the same shot.
But it's not the same thrower. So.
That's true. Whoa.
It actually rubs the high one this time. Really doesn't move it very far. Still leaves the guards overlapped.
The sweepers didn't seem to be worried about that at all. I don't know if I didn't think it jumped, but
it was very quiet weight when you think about being 3 up and playing a guard, playing a hit on a guard.
Let's see, Jacques just staring at the ceiling, trying to find some answers here.
Gatlin Schneider looking to make them pay for those miscues.
This is going to be too thin.
Boy, did they lose that at the end? No, it will hang on in the back of the 12 foot.
I guess he's maybe got a little bit of a potential out here if he makes this hit and roll.
Well, I don't think there's any way he gets shot hitting this one, but it's the most open stone he's got.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna play that stone again.
This is another. It again makes me think of the club curlers. We're gonna play this until it goes away.
Yeah. Well, without their rock there that's sitting on the the other side of the rings here, can they just try to make this double peel here, or do you have to start clearing the stuff inside the rings here? Yeah, if you're not worried about jamming, right?
You're not worried about jamming, but you have to make contact with the second one, or you haven't improved your situation at all, really.
Yeah. I mean,
you can see half a rock again. You can actually, if you could hit what you could see, it might actually make the double over the top on the stone at the back of the 12 foot.
I think so, yeah.
He's also looking at hitting and rolling off the back 12 foot one. I don't think there's any way that rolls flat enough to get shot rock.
No, it doesn't. But looks like they're going to talk about it here. Does check with the front end. I think front end has an opinion that they voiced to Middleton, and it looks like they're pointing at that slash double there.
It's hard to know for sure. There is a lot of room between the two rocks in the house. Looks like about 6-7 feet. But I think if you hit what you can see of the redstone in the 8-foot, it goes over the top of the back one, but clips it. You can make the double and potentially even roll in behind the corner guard on the other side.
Yeah.
You're going to roll a fair distance with the weight you're going to have to throw to make sure you kill it. I don't think there's any chance you're throwing it as quietly as you threw the last one. You have to make sure you kill something here.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they threw the last one as quietly as they did. You're throwing you're 3 points up, making a play on a corner guard, and you're throwing it so soft that when you rubbed it, you didn't even move the guard. Well, Sterling Middleton. Certainly more weight here. Looking to make the hit. Just gets by the top one and actually was able to hit the solidly enough that he dead jammed it. Wouldn't have thought he could have done that. I was not even 100% sure he was flipping it going over the top, but
yeah, I thought it was going over the top, if anything. Yeah.
Now, by jamming that back one, it is partially in behind the corner guard. You'd have to come from the wide side, which neither team has seen a lot. Colton Flasch going to opt to come around the corner on the other side now. Put some distance between these rocks. They have played, it's been a couple of hands, but they have played draws around this corner a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it does look to me like maybe there's a little bit more curl going this direction.
Yeah, for me as a club level curl, I would almost think you would curl behind the other guards, right? You got a little bit more space to hide and
2 guards, yeah. The only problem is you leave a double and the end's gone. Now this has to stop.
That should stick around somewhere.
Well, but by sliding deep, do you give Jacques Gauthier the chance to get something around in front of the tee line and take your end away? Does go kind of against your instinct to draw against 2.
Yeah.
Without last rock and a 3-point lead.
But he can hit and roll here and get shot.
He can. He can now because that one's so far back. He can't see all of this rock. He has to count on curl. Certainly you have to think it's going to be there. Granted, this is the kind of shot that no team here has probably played this a lot this weekend. You've only played 3 games. How many chances have you had to hit a rock out this wide looking for a roll?
Gosh, and if you ever clip the guard and end up pushing one of those in, this is pretty scary here.
Well, and that's the thing. He's put the broom down. I want to say, just looking at it, he's put the broom down on the side where he's not risking that.
Yeah.
So he's maybe generous with the ice, if anything. But the problem with that is if you roll broom side at all, you're not shot rock.
Yeah.
If you at least get to the nose, you force Colton Flasch to try the same shot. If you can get a roll to the inside, Colton probably has to draw from the middle and forget about 3 and just try to get the skip's deuce. They were on the brush right away. Well, this is going to be on the guards. It's just a question of now, is he going to hit it thick enough to put it into the rings? Didn't put it into the rings, but did he put it tight enough to split? And if he did put it tight enough to split, do you have to play it now? Because I don't know that you can leave it for the last one.
No, yeah, that's the thing. You almost have to get right, because well,
it's the shot that Colton's looking at. What else can you play? I mean, if you come around the guard, make it good, Jacques Gauthier is going to follow you down, and you're not going to be able to play the split on the last one.
Yeah. Because, well, I guess if you're Gauthier and you're throwing right now against the situation, are you throwing coming underneath, or are you playing this double on the back ones? I mean, that's a big double, right?
It's not. Boy, that's really flat. I'm not sure it's there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if I'm Colton Flasch, I'm playing the split right here.
Yeah, I think so. Because I mean that's because Gautier's just got to hide somewhere on that side, right, on the left side of the house from Thoreau's perspective.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's just just where that stone is positioned. I'm a little surprised Colton's playing this turn. I feel like the split's easier because it's fairly high rock that you're making contact with. It's easier. You get a better roll coming from the other turn. But anyway, what I was going to say, that it's possible where that is, if you make the split perfectly, you could actually choke off both corner guards. The push stone in behind the center, the corner guard that's right there, and have your shooter come all the way across under the other one. This has got to curl a ton.
Where's this going to end up here?
He's going to push the stone buried on behind the corner, but his shooter stays for a center guard.
Ooh, this is dangerous.
Yeah, decision time for Gauthier. The only stone he can hit is his second shot right now. He could roll across, maybe get shot, but you play that, and there's definitely going to be shot for 3 there. Might have to be a run back, but Colton Flasch throws those very well. And if he plays the run back, as long as he makes contact, he's getting 2. If he sticks it, it's for 3. So you have to think he's going to play it. If you don't roll dead buried, he's either got a port or a come around to tap it back for 3.
You're never freezing there on the other side?
No, it's an option. You could play the corner freeze on the one that Colton Flasch just tapped in behind the corner. The danger with that, though, is
you bring 4. Yeah.
You bring 4 into play, and you are 3 up here. As long as you make the hit, you're no worse than tied at the end of this, at the completion of this end. Colton Flasch a little thick on the hit on that last one, and with where he rolled, it's high enough. I don't think there's a split there for his last one. So even if you roll out, I don't think there's anything there for more than 3.
I've seen this Gauthier team be a little soft on hits and end up over curling here. This one seems to be pretty close.
Now they're looking for a little extra curl. Makes the hit, and he's probably going to roll right into the port. And you can see just at the bottom of the screen, see Jacques throw his hands up. They just got caught in between.
Yeah, I think
still, Colton Flasch has to negotiate that port. I mean, it's there, but the rock's 11 inches wide, and what's that port? 14 inches? It's not a huge hole.
Oh, you could drive a truck through there.
A Tonka truck. Probably have to play the in-turn through the port to make it. If you make the port, you're getting 3.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no way to roll out. And I think probably the discussion here is what kind of weight do we have to throw? I again, with a port like that, and they're close to even, but it's a little bit of a reverse stagger. It's harder to make it with quiet weight. As much as it kind of goes against your nature to throw bigger weight when you're throwing at a rock in the back of the house like that. But really, if you make the port, you can't hit this thin enough to roll out. So you have to throw something closer to like a normal hit weight.
Keeps on inching that broom a little bit.
Yeah,
out.
What
What's
I was
going
thinking.
On here?
Colton Flasch with his final stone. It is the Gauthier stone at the back of the 8-foot, I believe, sitting shot rock right now. Colton looking to make the port. And they kept inching that broom out, and maybe
close to the
should have left it where it was. It's going to clip the guard, clip the second guard,
they
and
sweep that in. Oh, that's
spins it into the button. A little fortunate there for Colton Flasch. They pick up the single. A little unfortunate they couldn't make the port. It might have been for 3. Jacques Gauthier with a 6-4 lead after 6 ends of play, and he will have last rock in the 7th.
Our partnership with Curl Canada is phenomenal. I mean, to be able to have a partnership like that at the national level, to be a part of the events that take place across Canada is phenomenal. To have our product available in those venues is phenomenal. But it really is, curling is really, for us, it's a grassroots sport. To be able to connect within the communities that are supporting the teams, just like yourselves, the clubs, the provincial level organizations as well. You know, for our ability to be partners with Curl Manitoba, Curl Sask, Curl Alberta, and Curl BC.
It's an exciting sport to watch. It fits really well with our brands. There's lots of people at the rinks watching you guys curl who are sipping on an 016, which fits really well for us. And have the opportunity to celebrate with you guys makes it even that much better at the end of the day.
The reason we trust Western Sales with our business is the people. I'm sure that there's 100 years experience coming out of that shop. We trust them because we do a CMI on our combine and on our tractor. When our equipment comes out of Western Sales, it's going to be good, because if it's not, they send us another combine, they send us another tractor. And we're not naive to the fact that that probably costs them a lot of money. So we just know that the service that we're getting at Western Sales is above par to everybody else.
Sean Joyce, Mark No with you here as the seventh end just underway. Jacques Gauthier with a 2-point lead here on last rock. Colton Flasch had an opportunity with his final stone. If he could have negotiated the port, could have tied things up. A little fortunate after he rubbed that he catches the second guard and at least spills in for a single. Otherwise, we might not necessarily even be playing this end.
Yeah, a little bit of a break there. Yeah, just to kind of get that little spill there. So seeing a little bit of a interesting setup here with Gauthier with hammer and 2-point lead just going ahead and coming in the rings.
Well, he knows he's not necessarily going to have to play any offensive shots here. If he scores one, he's 3 up coming home. He's happy with that. You knew that Colton Flasch was going to throw the second center guard as well. So now looking to come around again. A couple of rocks in the middle that Colton Flasch perhaps has to deal with. And while he's dealing with those, you're peeling the guards later on. Might like to get this right around everything to the top of the forefoot, though. Right now, I think Colton Flasch is probably looking at coming around wide from the other side, get shot rock in the forefoot. And once again, we've got a stone. They realize it's going to be a little bit deep, and they make sure they take it far enough back that Colton Flasch can't just freeze to it, the back of the button. Going to play to come down to it, but now he'd have to be back 8 foot to do that.
Yeah.
Flasch really needs to play for a steal here. It's pretty tough to think if you get the force, you'd need 3 in the 8th end. Not impossible under the 5 rock free guard zone, and then you'd still need to steal in an extra. Now, we talked a little bit about some of the rules earlier on. No time clocks in play here. These are 8-end games, 5 rock free guard zone. And for some of the curling fans, they might be familiar with. It was tried last year a couple of times. I know it's going to be in effect at the World Championships this year, the no tick rule, where you can't tick a stone off the center line in the free guard zone. And I believe they're playing it at the Brier and the Scotties as well. Not playing it here through the first 8 ends. And I haven't confirmed this yet, but I know that at the women's event here in Swift Current a couple of weeks ago, they were playing the no tick zone in the extra ends.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So for Colton Flasch, if he could even just get this to an extra end, that, and yes, it's tough. He's got to steal 7 and steal 8. But if you can get through that, you actually might have an easier chance in 9, because they can't tick. Granted, they didn't attempt the tick here. the setup that's in the house, you got to think Colton Flasch probably guards until Jacques Gauthier makes a play in the house.
Yeah.
If Gauthier comes down to the back one, you can follow it down again, and that might be your chance to steal.
Or would there be a situation where Colton goes, say, like top 4 and tries to sit 2?
Not until very late in the end, I would think.
It'd have to be
I would think
his first.
At the earliest.
Yeah.
You might even wait for your last, because the problem with playing it, and again, the tight red guard, and with how well these teams hit, Gauthier would have run it onto the yellow now. They didn't cover the tight guard now, so instead of trying to peel the high one, they're going to peel the tighter one to the rings. It's the one that's causing them the more trouble. And that's the reason why you see these teams. It's not just these two, all of the teams at the elite level, when they start trying to set up the steals later in the game and they play the 2 centers, you always want to keep those rocks in a line. There's 2 reasons for it. You don't want to leave angle for the double, or in this case, you left enough of that back rock exposed that they could just pick it out straight. And the long guard by itself, really, with as much finish as there is on these rocks, it's not guarding anything. The only thing that long guard can guard is your tighter guard.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's on the wrong side here, essentially, right?
Well, I know what you mean. You're thinking if they keep them in line now, Gauthier is always going to have a shot to get at his own stone at the top of the 8-foot. But the other side of that coin, if you're Colton Flasch in this situation, you might want to tempt Jacques Gauthier to try to play something in the house rather than play the guards.
Yeah.
They got that one far enough underneath that he's at least going to try the double peel. Well, we mentioned there's no time clocks in effect here, but if they were, they banked a little time there. We didn't even have time to get set up for the shot, and it was already on its way. Makes the double peel, but actually leaves his shooter as a long center guard.
Yeah.
This might be the chance.
Yeah, it looks like Colton's just go ahead and come in here.
It is really hard to get fully buried at the top of the 4-foot. I think the indication was they're looking to come right down to their own.
Yeah, I was wondering if going top 4 makes more sense here. Are they just trying to ensure a force at the least?
No,
and then kind of build from there. Or?
I know what you're thinking. I think what they're trying to do by coming to their own is entice Jacques Gauthier to try to follow it rather than peel.
Yeah, peel it.
Because here's the thing: you come to your own, and Gauthier peels the guard. You could throw a third one in there. Maybe not on the next stone, but at some point in time, throw a third one in there, and he won't be able to get them out.
Oh, sure.
So you might entice him, but you got to get to the face of your own stone. Though this has got a
heavy.
lot of room and a lot of weight. Bounces off, leaves a pocket. Probably left it in a way that you can blast the reds out.
Slash it, yeah.
You blast the reds out, it probably even loses that yellow at the back of the 8-foot. That won't hurt their feelings either. You could just draw in there, but
I like slashing these.
When I've done some coaching in my days too, and this is one of those ones where I might tell my team, turn around and see if the other team looks happy that you're calling this.
Yeah.
And if they do, don't play it. That might have been the comment coming from the other end here too, because they're looking at the options. No, he's going to stick with the draw.
Yeah.
Boy, to me, this just looks like the only way that Colton Flasch has a chance to steal.
Yeah. I mean, even if you don't get both the reds out, if you get that one and just move that other one into the open, right? Lose the back one.
You hit anywhere on the outside of that rock, both reds are gone.
Yeah, they're gone. Yeah, I mean, I think that's just
And you probably lose the yellow, and he's really got no backing to freeze to either, so he'd have to draw cold around the stone on the top of the 8-foot. Well, made the shot, and if Colton makes his, he steals one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm with them on that call.
Yeah.
This is not a gimme. This is a tough draw. But if you're Colton Flasch and you're down 2 here as you begin playing the 7th, you're happy to have this opportunity. He has had pretty good draw weight. Where they've struggled with Colton's draws is to get the line exactly right.
Yeah, I think we had that one miss where he's light earlier in the game, but ever since then he's been fairly locked on. It's just the sweeper has just been kind of on and off or caught in between, maybe on some shots.
Well, they were on this one right out of his hand. Might be a little bit light, and
gosh,
comes up short on this one. Not sure what you're going to have left for your last one. That was his opportunity to set up the steal for sure. Gauthier thinking about coming in again.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. It just makes the run back easier to me. You don't need to score 2. You definitely don't want to give up a steal.
So what's the other call here, right? Just are you guarding the run, or you can't guard the run? You just leave him that draw, then, yeah.
I'd be tempted to peel the center guard. If you peel the center guard, what does he make? Because you've got that tight run on the stone in the 8-foot.
Sure.
The center guard's the one that's hurting you. You peel the center guard. Colton Flasch probably has to try to tap up the one he just threw, because I don't think he can get shot any other way. If he makes it perfect, you've got the short run on the stone on the 8-foot. Leaving that stone in the 8-foot exposed certainly doesn't hurt you.
I'd be surprised if they ever came to peeling the guard here.
Well, they're not even looking at it, but
yeah,
you're up 2 now. You don't need to score 2. Why are you drawing? Like, what are you getting out of a draw? If you leave anything for Colton Flasch, he doesn't have anything. If you throw this into the boards, how does he get shot rock? But if you bring this into a spot where he can play the run double, well, then he can get shot rock. He almost doesn't have anything if you don't throw.
Yeah. So what did they end up here? Is he just going top 4?
Coming around, they're going to leave it, I think, a little bit higher, but still.
Okay.
Playing it like they're thinking about scoring 2 here. If they do pick up 2, we probably aren't playing the 8th end.
Yeah.
He's playing this nice and high. He's actually guarding the tap.
Yeah.
Still, really, though, if no matter how well you make this, you can guard the tap, but essentially all you're doing is making it a double tap, because I think they're looking at coming around everything.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. Like,
if he's got to throw a little quieter handle than he usually does, I think.
Yeah.
Because if you look at where the guards are situated, to get enough of the button to be shot rock, he's got to well over curl.
Yeah,
tighter the red guard, the stone he just threw.
Yeah, it's got to be this just kind of lazy handle shot, yeah, with just perfect weight, like almost like lazy handle natural T.
Even top 8, you might have to have weight so that once it gets by, they can carve it in a little bit with the brush. But it's got to be that kind of weight where you can wait, and just go right at the end.
This one looks like it's got a healthy amount of rotation here.
Starting to curl now. Still a lot of room by both guards. Trying to carve that in at the end. Put it on the tee line, but nowhere near the line they needed. So Jacques Gauthier now. This should be an out-turn draw to the edge of the forefoot.
I don't think so.
He's wondering if the tap might be easier, perhaps. He can't see a ton of forefoot to draw cold, but certainly the way they move at the end, he's thinking he can get to his own Yellowstone, and if you tap it on any kind of an angle, there's just 3 reds or 2 reds over there to catch it.
Yeah.
And
that
either
guard's
one of them,
long enough, yeah.
So maybe thinking the tap looks a little easier. Certainly with the catchers, there's no hole. He can't put it through. As long as he's got the weight to tap it, it's catching a red one somewhere. Not looking to throw big weight here. He's just throwing like a back forefoot tap. But he's got the 2 stones at the back of the forefoot to help him out. He could tap it onto either one of the reds, and he would pick up his 2 points. Doesn't have to go as wide to play this either as he would if he tried to draw straight to the edge of the forefoot. Been a lot of play in this middle section. They know the ice. Looks like he's by the guard. You might see them switch sweepers after the guard just to get that as thick as they can. No, they won't need to. Moving lots on its own.
Well done.
Makes the tap onto his own stone. Picks up 2 points. It's handshakes. Jacques Gauthier with 2 points here in the 7th end will pick up the 8-4 victory over Colton Flasch. And that moves the Gauthier team into the quarterfinals. Playoffs beginning Sunday night at 7 o'clock. And for Colton Flasch, they'll have time to grab a quick bite to eat, and they'll be back on the ice at 7 o'clock tonight to face Cody Hartung in one of the 3 B qualifiers that will be on tonight. We want to thank everyone once again for joining us this afternoon here on the SaskTel Curling Stadium coverage from the IG Wealth Management Western Showdown. We've got 3 B qualifiers tonight. You can catch all the action here, and continuing on tomorrow into the playoffs Sunday night and Monday morning. On behalf of myself, Sean Joyce, Mark No, thanks for joining us this afternoon, and we will see you at 7 o'clock tonight.
Thanks, everyone.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.